Welcome to another installment deep in the heart of 2017. That's the time here and now, which will differ from your time because this ain't live. Anyway, yeah, welcome to my hobby. Today I'm talking about a polarity. That's just to get us sidetracked. So we're going to talk about something interesting. Gee, what's a good polarity we could talk about? You can talk about life and death, attachment, detachment, like and hate, love and hate, or love and fear. I wanted to talk about abundance and scarcity, and how they pull each other. Yeah, so we got like the human desire, the human, and it has an abundance of desire. I haven't met too many people without that abundance, like in some form or another. You get the permaculture people are no, I'm being general. The ones that I've met, the ones in the tropics, they end up with like an abundance of tropical food and like an oasis, whereas the ones in the desert have to wait forever and have lots of sacrifice, but they as well end up with an abundance. I've noticed like the really positive ones and the ones that's like it's very simple have the best farm and all that, and the ones that are clean end up doing the best. That's very general. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Well, we're talking about abundance and scarcity. So I've noticed this throughout my life. If I get into a situation where my opportunities are scarce. Hang on 1 second. Hola, buenos dias. You get into a sort of reality loop where well, for me, because I don't know why, maybe I'm inwardly focused, or I just carry on too much thinking about certain things. Well, this is how I was, like I developed this feedback loop. We'd call it default creation, because you fear rock bottom all the time, so you're often focused on it, and then you reach rock bottom, and then there's no more, like you've already got it. You get like sick of it. There's a point in time where you do get sick of yourself doing these things, and it's probably because some part of you knows it's not necessary. It may know that it was necessary to hit rock bottom, but it may not. And I don't believe that's a necessity either. Like we can learn from those that have hit rock bottom before us, you know. Anyway, because you have no abundance in your actual life. Well, in the area that, you know, because you're not focused. You're focused on an area like money, say, or food, or things, maybe. The taste defines that. Like, otherwise, you have to like force yourself. You know, like go outside of your square, force yourself to focus. Just say you don't care about money. You know, like, but you realize money is necessary to get what you want. Maybe. But you know, you might be wrong in thinking that. Well, that's not a good technique. The best technique is to go with your taste, like go all the way to the end. Go all the way to the end. But realize what you need to, you know, realize things that can help you, catalyze your progression towards all the way to the end. And there's a lot of wasted energy focusing on those things, because you don't have to focus on those things. All you do is you appreciate them as they arise. Because as a catalyst comes up, that's cool. That's like, we're taking steps forward. That's important. Steps forward, or steps gained, is progression towards the fulfillment of less suffering. And then you might be lucky, and this is the goal, is to be satisfied with the journey. Because you'll never reach the thing about human desire is you may in your current state of mind and time frame believe that if that lot of money if that absolute freedom is given to you right now, that will end your thirst for these things. I've made a promise to myself. I think I already told you that I'm going to pick up people. Even though I'm doing this rant, I'm gonna pick up people, because I don't want to lose that side of me. Okay? So I may cut this short. I may just do it. Tempt me. I may not, but hey, I might just. This is better therapy. Yeah, so because I mean the Hindus say get closer to completion, and then there's another taste like that's like that's really like a long journey, and you could say completion is is contentment with incompletion. Like it's as simple as that. Detaching yourself from this incessant desire part of you. It's almost like the bestial DNA ingrained part of you, or part of that. Yeah, so the abundance then can be found in the path, because you have all the time in the world in the now. Like that's like every waking hour, even when you're asleep, you're in the now. You know, you're surfing on the ocean. There's lots of ways to bring you to the now, like just so you can feel it. Like focus on like 10 breaths, and then realize, like, just do 10 breaths in and out. Punch that stomach out. Squeeze it back in. Watch that little insect crawl up the wall. Do that as often as you can. Like write it on your hand. Be at one with your breath. Don't let it get away. Then forget about doing it. Focus on something else in the now. Something you don't usually focus on, like maybe the road as you're driving. Each and every pothole. The complexity, the abundance of now. The attitude of each driver. Don't every time your mind wanders onto what you're about to do, where you're about to go, focus on that breath. Try and make it really smooth. Make an art out of breathing. Watch a good YouTube by Kundalini breathing, like full breaths, where you breathe in, I think through your nose. I don't know, try it for yourself. You breathe in, you stick your stomach out. First you stick your stomach out, or do 20 of these. Go stick your stomach out and then push it back in, just your stomach, your tummy. Make it like a pot belly. Push it out like you got a 6-pack. Yeah, then 20. Breathe into your shoulders. No, not into your shoulders, into your chest. Yeah, and then do that like 20 times. Just to get the idea of the chest. And then do the ones where you throw your shoulders forward, like breathing out, and then throw your shoulders back, straighten up your back, and then breathe out. And then combine them. So first, in nice and smoothly, push the stomach out, nice and smoothly, push the chest out with the stomach out, nice and smoothly, throw the shoulders back. So your chest and stomach are right out and your shoulders are back and your back's straight. Oh, squeeze all that air into that body, those lungs, and then first hold it for a little bit, then push your shoulders forward, and then push your chest in, and then push your stomach out. Now do that as fluently and smoothly as you can. If you've got these problematic thoughts, and well, make it a habit to breathe like that. Watch a good video by a Kundalini master. And and breathe away those thoughts of the past, those regrets, those worries in the future. Also the excitement of the future, the bar setting of the past. Let's just detach from that for a little bit. We don't, because we're human, the big misconception is that you can do this indefinitely and make it like a fight or something, to be polaric without thought or without desire or without regret and all these things. These things are natural. They have a certain momentum though, you can make them more spontaneous in your life and not so much a ritual, not so much a habit. But go easy on yourself, we've got to listen to that sort of teaching. A lot of people teach that. That's a common atomic phenomenon. Yeah, so now and then you're gonna have an abundance of now and you're gonna momentum. You're gonna speed up in that direction, because, and then you're gonna be more focused. You're gonna realize that you're focused in the present, which is where you are, and it's just quite logically a more it's quite logical that being where you are in all and alert where you are is something that's going to help you make better decisions spontaneously. Now, we don't have to make decisions. That's the other thing, and we don't have to move anywhere, we don't actually have to do anything. We don't have to pursue any desire. We don't have to spend any money. We don't have to. The thing with this thinking in the present and why so many teachers are propagating it is because they've discovered for themselves that it's quite beneficial for yourself. There's a certain magic in it. You start to really it's almost scientific. You start observing things differently. You start to get a lot more synchronicity. There's something about forgetting what you're worried about, forgetting what you're regretting, that I liken it to human relationships. Hang on, this is interesting. I was just talking about this yesterday with my bestie. Hang on. Buenas. Gracias. Yeah, I was just talking. That guy was smoking, man. He was smoking some rubber or something was going on there. Well, this car is about to blow up again. We're almost at that stage. I got water by this time. I don't have a knife. Or some hose. I need some hose and some knives. Maybe not. Hopefully not. know, and like I had that problem with the car. I had to shut down this. I don't really want to record my personal life. You know, you be personal too. I don't really want to bug you. The thing is, like I have like many techniques that I don't know. I subscribe to them. They're probably all wrong. You know, each to their own. Maybe share some of your techniques with us. If ever down the road anyone ever listens to these, just share some of your ideas. Maybe it'll tweak some of the flavor of some of the other people. But a big one is like focusing in the now, developing like a strong momentum of no fear, no worry, no regret. And not too much. The other one, like you've got the positive aspect of memory, and you got the positive aspect of prediction. You've got like, you know, this is gonna be a great movie, blah blah blah. Oh, it's fantastic, gonna be a fantastic movie. If you go like the real, you know, or this is gonna be a fantastic date, or I'm like looking so forward to it, or if you're single or something, or this is gonna be a fantastic meal, or a fantastic job. You know, like you can trick yourself into this. Very very simply, you can throw yourself into a loop of expectation, and you can also throw yourself actually expectation is probably not a bad thing. If you just don't, you gotta be like logically in wherever you are is where is being presented opportunity to get yourself out of that rut. You know, like in every moment the universe is trying to give you like a present, and if you're not watching, if you're out there in the future, these beautiful presents and presents is really can pass you by. You know, they can find you. You know, you can put up blinders like a horse. They want that horse to just keep running on that course, and if you go and you put up those blinders, that's all you're doing. You're running straight towards that. You're living in that future, you know, that future focus. That's all you're doing. You're not you're not allowing like the sort of the jump of the track. You're not allowing yourself to enjoy the moment, the path, because see, we're always moving. It's just logic. We're always going to be moving. The other thing about moving, like a lot of people get I used to be a little bit like this, where you get lazy with it's just gonna come to me, you know, like and I used to get pissed at like motivational like speakers, like saying like you have to move and you gotta fight and you gotta be determined and all this, you know, like they do. I do find that they have one thing right, just one thing. It's like a catalyst, and it can help. Is that and it's the moving. You are an electromagnetic occurrence, or an electromagnetic device. You're electromagnetic biomass, and the planet and the solar system, all this is an electromagnetic wonder house. Now, if you just do very, very, very basic physics, you'll come across magnetics and electromagnetics, and you'll most certainly come across, I don't know the exact name of the law, if it's Bohr's law, far out, man, like I did it so long ago, but it's the driving force of motors and electronic motors. The new Tesla car is based on it. It's based on magnetic and electricity. When you combine magnetics and electricity, there's certain things that occur. It's bidirectional. So let me just. So if you get a copper cable, which is a conductor, and you so you got a copper cable, and you pass it, like you move it through a magnetic field. Something very interesting happens in the cable. The electrons in the cable, or the definition of electricity is the flow of electrons, or the potential of electricity is the. Is that right? Well, we measure electricity by counting the number of these electrons past a certain point at a certain time. And the way we do that is we just have a dial, and if it happens, the dial goes woo woo. Yeah, and then how high the dial goes, the number. Make it real simple for yourself. Like it's just you connect that thing up, but what it's doing is measuring. There's an electric current. That's what you might have heard of, amps or amperes. Amps, yes, ohms and things like this. That's resistance. But all we're interested in is you move an a conductor that has no electricity in it. It has the potential for electricity. You move it in the magnetic field, and you get a flow of electrons. Now this gets a lot more interesting when you move them, when you spiral you make a coil out of the cable or the conductor. The material that has the potential to transfer electricity from one position to another. You put that in a coil, and then you shove a magnet up the guts of it. Now you move it, and you get like multiples of the original, like just one piece of cable going through the magnetic field, moving from one position to another. Obviously geometry, these fields have direction, so you can amplify and decrease the amount. Then it's bidirectional, so if you apply electricity to the cable, the cable jolts in one direction or another, depending on how much electricity, direction of electricity, whatnot. And the same with a coil. You apply electrical current to the coil, and then the magnet in the center of the coil goes in one direction or the other. It flies forward or flies backward, or it does something. And then some people, you can play with geometry here, just like what's a classic geometry like in the sun? In the sun, like take a permaculture banana circle. No one ever knew this, but you plant bananas in a circle of 3 meters or 10 meters diameter, and you plant a bunch of bananas in a circle, and then in the center you sort of fence off the circular field in the center, and fill that full of mulch. In the tropics, you will grow, and then you set up your farm like that. Compared to just growing those bananas in a grid pattern, you will achieve a multiple of yield of banana. Now, that's really fucking, that was impressive, and that's why, and that was based on Bill Mollison's sort of idea that he got from the Muse, where pattern is everything, and he's got a good point. There's lots of interesting multipliers in natural life, in nature, we're an interesting geometry that makes multiples of things, that multiplies energy fairly efficiently and all that. We flow, another thing I learned from Bill was something interesting, was the life in fluids, like how we've evolved with fluids. Fluids have evolved with us, obviously, too. There must be some bidirectional there. And that's why we have our certain shape. We're fairly aerodynamic up to a certain point. We can swim through water fairly well. But look at all the other animals, like fish and whatnot, that are aerodynamically, fluid dynamically, artistic creations. However that happened, I don't really. Maybe the water spoke. Maybe it was a desire, to combine those two and have this sort of I was even thinking, like, are we coming to a cool down? We went through a cool down, where the whole world froze over. Are we coming back to that with the cycles of the sun? And is that why we are, the collective is so rampant in this desire to burn fossil fuel and create heat? Is there some ingenious, and then there's some ingenious plant conjured this theory up, or the mushroom did, maybe, because the mushroom is like one of the fuentes, one of the sources of life, one of the great carers of it. Maybe read about mycelium and how it cares for everything. It transfers nutrient density to nutrient scarcity. So there's an abundance of nutrient in one part of the forest and a scarcity in the other. The mycelium is the highway for those nutrients, and quite possibly the largest organism on the earth is a mycelium. The mycelium organism, possibly spreading across acres and whatnot. And we're losing those bosques. We're forgetting again. Like, all that work, over all those years to put the carbon dioxide back into the ground is being undone. We're pulling it out we're burning it. These are our ancestors, and we're burning what little we have on the face of the earth. We're cutting it down, we're burning it. And you see more and more dead soil, you know, like, but it's full of bacteria. It's only going into the atmosphere to be enjoyed by the plants once more. Yeah, I just often wonder, what is at play there? What forces are at play? Now when you consider all of these, this is how Benny now looks at consciousness. Is we're facing all of these resistances, like water was a hindrance of you know, the momentum of the fish, and like air was the hindrance of the momentum of the bird, and later the human. And like space and its serious dangers are a hindrance to the expansion of the human race to a multi-planetary species. We have we also have a frontier in consciousness where we have to sort of sculpt our ego and consciousness, our vessel, to cut through it, you know, cut through these resistances. And who knows, you know, like the speed of sound, the barrier of the speed of sound presented itself as an emerging phenomena. We broke through it by sculpting a vessel that cut through it without exploding. It had to have had to be made of a certain material, and it had to be a certain shape. And now we can simulate the destruction of we're that good, we can simulate the destruction or the success of a vehicle traveling at the speed of sound. We know beforehand whether it's going to blow up or not. We used to be able to tell. I think they made models. And did they have a speed of sound? That's a good thing to search. A speed of sound wind tunnel. I'm not sure. It would be fantastic. How would they generate that? Possibly with rockets. Yeah, I'm not sure. We're coming to the end here anyway. Well, I thought that was a good sidetrack. You know, just to why work on your mind and its momentum in whatever direction? Is it that we're sculpting a mind, or the combination of mind, feeling, body? Are we sculpting this body to shoot through barriers? And for whatever reason, maybe it's the fulfillment of desires, hidden desires like, why do we have a certain taste? Why do we strive to this? Is it our collective? Is it a parasite on us that's coercing us in that direction? Like the famous parasites that can alter the mind of the frog to commit suicide, so that they can enjoy a parasitic future within another host. Blah 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 blah. Most likely it is all that. If you don't question it, you know what I mean? Like, maybe all these ideas are questioning and whatnot is taking back control of our little, and that could be dire consequences in that. parasite might be strong in some and not in others. Anyway, I'm just discussing like fairy tales and dreams of a just throwing it out there, you know, like maybe it's all bullshit. But that's the whole point, like that I can see, is you go to the end of all this and there is no point other than time. Time passing. And frivolous desires to pass it with someone else, to care maybe just about yourself. If you were to put it into if you were to extrapolate that you were every being and everything, just that you forgot that connection and continue to forget it, then it would ultimately be the fulfillment or the completion is like a love for yourself, and that these activities that we share with other people or pursue on our own are hobby. And you may be someone like me that fits into a little cog in a big machine and lose track of, like, that's a method of forgetting your importance as a pioneer in the consciousness realm. There's not many pioneers, there's only 6 billion. Now there's a lot more bacteria. But then again, like, that's being selfish. We're pioneers of one aspect of it, the mobility aspect and the fast-paced creation of thing aspect. But I look at a big tree, look at trees over time. They create big things. You mix them up, you get a spirit out of them. They've got dominance of certain realms. It's just we have a chainsaw and they've got fruit. They've got everything we need, but we've got a chainsaw. So we hold them for ransom. I mean, even permaculture, that's just the advancement of human habitat. Sustainable human habitat. We go. And the most advanced, well, the guy that made it, he's probably not the most advanced anymore, but Billy, he could make a mean farm. He was very adamant there was enough for everyone. Anyway, that's the end of today. I mean, this morning's drive to work. I hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna continue to talk about different polarities, because that's gonna be my formula, just so I can get sidetracked. You know, like I gotta have something to start on, something to come back to. So you take care all, and I'll talk to you soon. Have fun. Enjoy.